What is up, everybody, and welcome to week 2 of General Managers, your weekly dose of how to win your fantasy matchups. I'm your host, Dappz, with the prodigal son. Is it prodigal son or prodigal son? Dylan.
It's a G, with a G.
It's prodigal.
Well, the prodigal son returned from Las Vegas last night. You look rat-fucked right now.
Yeah, I would highly advise anyone watching this show to not take a jet to watch any Raiders games that involve Geno Smith quarterbacking a team.
Oh, my gosh. So insane. When you told me you were going to watch that game, I had only one question. Why?
Well, also, Quentin Johnston scored a 60-yard touchdown, but I got there late, missed that, watched the second half, which was the worst second half of football besides Sunday night football and, Thursday night football. And we've got a lot of bad
games this week.
A lot of bad primetime games. I mean, that J.J. McCarthy-Penix game, boring AF.
I think 9 or 19 field goals, something like that.
Disgusting. And it's really a shame for football fans in general. And also, we brought up the Thursday night football graphic on a show earlier this week, and it's not going to get any better, guys. We're talking about Bills-Dolphins on Thursday night.
Bills-Dolphins.
And by the way, that could be a very high-scoring game because Josh Allen will go up 30 points and Tua will just have to rocket the ball to Tyreek, and maybe Tua's arm is a noodle, and that's why he doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, and we're here to talk about fantasy and not general NFL news, but someone put Mike McDaniels out of his misery. I mean, the man is speaking in riddles like we mentioned last week. I'm getting really, really annoyed with the fortune cookie post-game press conferences. You have to win a game in order to win it. And if you lose it, that means you don't win. What?
Yeah, so he is the Riddler 100%, and I was very convinced that McDaniels was a brilliant offensive mind, but now I'm a little concerned that he's not a brilliant offensive mind. If he does get fired, he'll be a great OC somewhere. Will he?
Well, to be fair, his quarterback, I don't want to make any insensitive jokes,
is in a constant state of concuss.
Well, let's just say it would be very difficult for him to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich correctly. So listen, we're here to talk about fantasy
Let's
football.
talk about Monday Night Football. Ashton Jeanty, the first guy we're going to talk about. And this is where your fantasy expert that we talk about all the time, why we've created this show, fantasy experts, have Ashton Jeanty at the back of the first round. For what reason? Why on earth was Ashton Jeanty a late first round, early second round pick? This guy, Dylan, based on his points and his usage, is a 7, 8, 9th round pick.
100%.
This is the third running back you take on a team.
100%. I am really starting to get fatigued with rookie hype. Every once in a while, it can win you a league. It won me. Brian Thomas Jr. and Jaden Daniels won me and a lot of people leagues last year.
But let me cut you off. Brian Thomas Jr. and Jaden Daniels were drafted post 6th round last year. Okay? So I have no problem with rookies winning you a league. My problem is last year, Marvin Harrison Jr., second round pick, bust. This year, Ashton Jeanty, late first round pick. Why? What justification?
And let me cut you off real quick because you bring up a really, really good point. Do not fade rookies when you're drafting, but do not spend up on them. We've had enough of a sample size to see this not work. MHJ was not a bust last year for a 7th round, 6th round pick. He was a bust for a 2nd round pick. You would be so happy if you took MHJ in the middle of the draft. And these rookies get so hyped. Ashton Jeanty has never had to do pass protection the way that he needs to do pass protection in the NFL. I don't know if you've seen that clip. It's one of the most pathetic things I've seen in a slate of games that were pretty pathetic. That's not that relevant to fantasy, but it is because that is a basic fundamental need for coaches in a running back. If you can't do that, you're not going to see the field. And he didn't see the field anywhere near enough. I think he got 11 attempts last night. Not what you want in a first, second round pick. Just poop.
And let's move right along to the next running back, Omarion Hampton, another second-round pick. Why? Why is this guy a second-round pick? What? And this is like a consensus across experts, across the board, Yahoo, Fantasy Pros, ESPN. Everybody's got these guys on their board so high, and I just don't understand why on earth would you ever, and by the way, I was criticized in drafts this year for this, why on earth would you ever take Omarion Hampton or Ashton Jeanty over James Cook?
It's
like think about that for a second.
I'll tell you why. It's the juice. It's the juice. People get excited about it. People get rose-hued glasses for these guys. And James Cook is not anywhere near as sexy a pick as Omarion Hampton coming into Harbaugh's running scheme. Don't do it. If he's in the 5th or the 6th, that's fine. But I took Omarion Hampton as I went CMC, Jonathan Taylor, Omarion Hampton. I have not won a game in this league, and it's largely due to having a very, very weak flex position in Omarion Hampton, who has put up 7 points and 3 points respectively, and fumbled at the end of the game. I know it's not his fumble in fantasy, but it was his fumble kind of. That's not good. Also, you never trust a Harbaugh in fantasy. Don't do it.
No, and the Chargers are coming out with a brand new scheme on offense this year, completely different than last year. It involves their Pro Bowl quarterback, Justin Herbert, which we are very surprised about.
It's absolutely crazy. But let's talk about their receivers, because another guy that was just way too high was Ladd McConkey. Everybody
got this wrong. And by the way, Ladd McConkey owners right now should be worried, and they should be worried not because Ladd McConkey is not good, because Herbert is spreading the ball all over the field, and guess what? He has Keenan Allen, who he has more chemistry with than anybody on the team, number one. And number two, Quentin Johnston, we talk about this every other episode, knows how to catch all of a sudden. So he is his deep ball threat. McConkey is the guy who is supposed to catch 10 balls a game, right? So you're going to get 5 points and a half PPR just off that.
Yep.
And then you're going to get a floor. He's probably going to get 50 yards, so he's got this 10-point floor. And now if he scores a touchdown, you're in a very good position. That doesn't look like that's going to happen consistently. That'll happen. Like, he'll get his touchdowns, but so will Quentin Johnston, and so will Keenan Allen. So because of this, if you're a Ladd McConkey owner right now, and he has a good week next week or the week after, trade him high. Get rid of him high.
I think so too. I think I still want to see what this Chargers offense does. I think they've gotten a lot of broken plays. They've gotten so many of these, like, how is Quentin Johnston that open? So I just want to see if defenses figure them out a little bit. So I don't know if I'm selling Ladd yet, but it goes back to this thing that we've been talking about at the top of the show. Ladd, rookie hype last year, fine, late round. This year, second, third round receiver. It's like, what are we talking about? That's absolutely way too high a draft capital. But we get to Quentin Johnston next, who I don't know if I will ever believe that this is real. I just don't know that I'll ever believe that this is real. Maybe if it happens 7 weeks in a row, but right now I'm fairly confident Quentin Johnston is going to put up less than 4 points in week 3.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of that, Dill. I saw Quentin Johnston week 1. I watched the game. I thought, wow, Herbert's really looking at this guy, targeted him 7 times. And then I thought, okay, let's watch game 2. He's probably going to fall back to a combo of Keenan Allen and McConkey. Wrong. Another 60-yard bomb to Johnston. Herbert trusts this guy, right? Like, that's what it is. The Raiders played hard D. They still have to let up the 60-yard touchdown. Now, again, you take that 60-yard touchdown away, that's, 11 of these 14 points for sure.
The targets are still there, though.
But the targets are there. The whole point is Herbert is looking at Johnston. That's what I like. If you could trade for him low right now, get him. I was not able to scoop him up in as many leagues as I wanted, because I think he's a great insert into your wide receiver 3 or flex position as a waiver wire pickup. But you missed him.
I would rather have Keenan Allen.
Yeah, well, Keenan Allen, a lot of people drafted him late round because of his history. And in a number of leagues that I was in, Keenan Allen was not available. But sure, I understand Keenan Allen wanting him over Johnston, and he scored 2 weeks in a row as well. Let's move along to MVPs of the week at the quarterback position. The man, the myth, the legend, the tales of 2 different teams. The Detroit Lions absolutely get crushed in Green Bay last week. And then, and I shouldn't even say crushed. They crushed the Chicago Bears. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns, 33 fantasy points. What an outing by Goff. And by the way, Goff has done this before. Like, last year, he was ranked in the top 10 for a significant amount of the season, ranked in the number 5 position overall for first 6 or 7 weeks. So Jared Goff might go on this little run for 5 or 6 weeks where he's a great option if he's available in your league. I think a lot of people draft this guy as a late round, either second QB or even your starting QB.
Yeah, this will be Jared Goff's biggest game of the year. With that being said, he is a steady, low-end QB1, high-end QB2 that you shouldn't be too worried about starting. This list of the top quarterbacks this week is just asinine.
There's just one. There's one guy on here that you're like, duh, and everybody else you're like, are you serious?
Absolutely outrageous.
I mean, the amount of teams that probably didn't start Russell Wilson, or I assume in most half PPR 12-team formats, Russell's not even on a team.
Absolutely not.
With 1 QB. And by the way, tale of 2 tapes again with Russell Wilson not knowing how to play the game of football against the Commanders and then just balling out most passing yards he's ever had. Russ sits as the quarterback with the most passing yards as we film this show.
616 yards.
And the next thing I'm going to ask, though, Dill, is why can't we expect the chemistry between Russ and Neighbors to only get better, number one? And number two, he threw a number of balls to Wan'Dale Robinson. Can Russ do this consistently?
We'll have Wan'Dale on the waiver segment. Russell Wilson seems like the easiest quarterback in the world to pick off. I don't understand how he
has this slow developing throw.
It's absolutely bananas.
And when he throws the deep ball too, you think like, that's getting picked.
Yeah.
Because it goes so high and then it just lands in Malik Neighbors' hands. Like,
Malik Neighbors is an ungodly talent. Maybe we should have Russ in the wait what segment, but I genuinely don't know what to do about Russell Wilson. There's a world where Jackson Dart could be starting in 2 weeks. There's a world where he doesn't see the field this season. We just got to look at this team for a little bit longer to find out what's going on.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't see Dart starting anytime soon. I think that the Giants should have won that game. I think that they are going to play hard. I think that Neighbors wants to win. They have all the pieces. Russ, I still believe Russ can beat any team. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's going to beat any team consistently, but if you have Russell Wilson, I believe you're in the game.
You're in the game.
You're, maybe not for long. Lamar Jackson, I don't think we need to even highlight him. He's going to be on this list every single week. Drake May and Daniel Jones, the double Ds. What is going on, Dylan? Drake May. I mean, listen, I'm not a Drake May hater, but I didn't think he was going to pop up in the top 5. You've got guys like Josh Allen, who only dropped 11 points because he played the trash-ass Jets.
The Jets are so bad. Oh, the Jets are so bad.
They were on the 5-yard line. They ran like a wide receiver sweep to Elijah Moore. They're like, who else should we try to have score? We'll run it to a receiver.
Yeah.
So when I have Josh Allen and James Cook, I thought every time the Bills score, I get points. Wrong. When you play the Jets, wrong.
Incorrect, yeah.
Incorrect.
I don't know. I don't think Drake May is the truth. That's a new team, a developing team, as are the Colts. But the Colts, after 2 weeks, have looked pretty real. Now, they just flat out cheated this week. I mean, I don't know how they won that game. That was one of the most insane endings I've seen in some time. That kicker in a league where it seems like 54-yard field goals are the new 38-yard field goal. That kicker was nowhere near making that 60-yard field goal. They get the penalty, get bumped up 15 yards, and all of a sudden the Colts are 2-0, and Danny Dimes is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It may be real, but a good comp was last year the Saints started out just fireworks with this absolutely insane offense, super dynamic. People were talking about incredible odds to win the Super Bowl. They went on to just absolutely shit the bed. So hold on with the Colts, but they might be real.
Listen, let's be real. The Colts did not deserve that win. Danny Dimes looks very good. An impressive stat is that the Colts have not punted in the first 2 games, which has never happened in NFL history. So my opinion going into this game was the Colts played a trash team and the Dolphins, not enough of a sample size. They go home, they play the Broncos, light up the Broncos D, who is arguably the best defense in the league. So that's a little perplexing. I don't know how to handle that at the moment.
Wait, what?
But then they still should have lost the game. They only won the game because the refs bailed them out, gave him this BS 15-yard penalty after he missed a 60-yard field goal. So I'm not happy that the Colts won the game. But that even them losing the game, Danny Dimes played very well. And he looks like he's connected to Tyler Warren. He looks like he's connected to Michael Pittman. He looks like he's got Jonathan Taylor, who can get 200 yards a game for you.
Tyler Warren, another perfect example of appropriate rookie hype. Everyone was talking about Tyler Warren, and I reached for Tyler Warren in the 7th round.
Right. And by the way, taking Tyler Warren in the 7th round when you need a tight end and there's, they're coming off the board, whatever. Taking Ashton Jeanty with the 11th overall pick and getting 5 points a week when you've never seen him play an NFL game is criminally insane.
It's Joker type shit.
This is where, we have to start making our own boards because I don't think I'm ever going to put a rookie in the top 3 rounds.
Nope.
Because it's just, I don't even care. If I put him in the 4th round and he ends up being great, what are people going to call me stupid?
Right.
I don't care. Call me that.
Yep.
Let's move to the running backs of the week. Top running back performers this week. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, no surprise, really. Jonathan Taylor rushes for 167
No
or
surprise, but
yards.
kind of still a surprise. I think that people are wise to how good Jonathan Taylor is, but it's kind of crazy to even say that people are wise to Jonathan Taylor. He's the number 3 running back since 2021 behind Saquon and Derrick Henry. He is an absolute phenom. And if the Colts are moving the ball with an adequate quarterback, he could easily be RB1 on the season.
Well, listen, Jonathan Taylor, the only reason there's any skepticism around Taylor is because of his injury history. I think if that was taken away, Jonathan Taylor is a top 3 pick every year, right? He is a high usage, like Dylan said, top 3 rushing yards in the league in the last 3 years, only behind Saquon and Derrick Henry. Those stats, why wouldn't you want that guy on your team? Such a safe pick. Such a pick that should be miles and miles ahead of Ashton Jeanty.
Who went ahead of him.
Right, who went ahead of him. Great job if you did that. Bonehead. And I'm not going to stop pounding all of these experts' heads to the pavement. James Cook, elite, bro. All I heard was 18 touchdowns last year. How's he going to do that again? Bro has 4 touchdowns in his first 2 games.
Yeah,
So,
I think the regression...
he's on pace for 30 touchdowns.
The regression narrative is super arbitrary. It's super arbitrary. It makes sense, but if you think about it, it's just, you could just as easily say that he won't regress as he will. There's no rhyme or reason. I think the takes around James Cook in the offseason were the coldest in the entire ecosystem of fantasy expertise.
And I think here's the other thing you got to consider. He's on the Buffalo Bills, the best offense in the league. The best offense in the league, what do? They score points. The teams that score points produce fantasy players, right? That's why Josh Allen has so many points. He's the lead running back. He gets the most touches. He catches the ball. Also, I don't know if you watched the Jet game, he had one of the nastiest moves in the middle of a pile of Jets players, bounced out, scored a 46-yard rushing touchdown. It was absolutely elite. Really, really fun player to watch. We're moving right along to Devon Achane, who, again, this was a early 2nd-round guy, absolutely has been crushing. He also stepped out of bounds at the end of the game for a touchdown that would have given them the lead, and it was a 40-yard touchdown. Had he not stepped out, we're talking about Devon Achane being at the top of this list. It's just I don't even know if I want to say it's a shame. Miami, they should score points. They should. Maybe they're not in the game, but they should score points. I really hope that Tua and Tyreek can kind of sync and connect. One, because Tyreek's on two of my fantasy teams, but also because it doesn't make sense. Like, when Tyreek got to town, Tua was airing the ball out to him. I don't know if Tua broke his arm or something's wrong and he can't throw it anymore, but something's not. His brain doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't make any sense. I hope they get in sync. And then we're going to move from Devon Achane to Javonte Williams, who, you know, Dylan is just like the worst fantasy guru when it comes to this stuff, because he listens to too many of these idiots who put out these boards and they don't know anything. And listen, Javonte Williams, sure, he had a question mark, but historically, the last 10 years, the Cowboys run the ball well. He's the lead running back. Miles Sanders stinks. Jaden Blue, everybody, he's gonna emerge. Not looking like it. Javonte.
He hasn't played yet.
But,
okay.
Well, yes, but like, why? You know what I mean? There's a reason he hasn't played.
Okay.
Right? He's either injured or he's not good enough. And Javonte's getting the touches, and when you're scoring touchdowns and getting touches, your team isn't just gonna back off of that. So if you drafted Javonte late, great pick. I don't think he's gonna score 25 a week, but I think he's good for 12 to 15 as a floor every week.
Oh, God.
Like we said last week. And
by
by the way, when I said that last week, he doubled that.
That is not his floor. I maybe I'll be proven incorrect, but I want to see Jaden Blue come into this backfield. I just don't buy it.
Number one, you
yet.
don't want to see Jaden Blue. You just hate that Javonte Williams is so good. Nobody wants to see Jaden Blue.
We had a trade. What was our trade? T. Higgins and somebody
else. Which you
else
100% should have accepted. I would have. I
don't need to accept it. I'm 2-0. You're 1-1. Okay.
Oh yeah, I also benched like 50 points. So
that's fine. Good for you.
Kenneth Walker on my bench. Stupid play.
Wide receivers. Great week for wide receivers.
Moving to the WR position, Amon-Ra had 39. Did he have more than Malik?
Yeah.
Wow. Amon-Ra. Oh yeah, he caught that late touchdown. Amon-Ra, a guy that I'm very kind of scared to draft.
I am not scared to draft.
Yeah, I'm always scared to draft him in that like 8, 9, 10 position as wide receiver 1. I don't know why. The Lions are back. They look like the Lions of last year. Listen, they beat the Bears who stink, but they beat them bad. And when, you know what good teams do to bad teams? They score 50 points on them.
You know, it's like we were talking about when we were watching Thursday Night Football. Green Bay had every opportunity in the world, and this is why people love Dan Campbell and they love the Lions. They're up by 2 or 3 touchdowns. It's 4th and 4. We're going for it. That's fun football. That's fuck you, Ben Johnson, and that means good fantasy points.
But you know what? We talk about this on multiple shows here. Go back to the Super Bowl, Falcons versus Patriots. Falcons won the game. They're up 28-3. They're driving down the field. Had they kicked a field goal, right, and they should have scored a touchdown, but they took their foot off the brakes. Had they kicked a field goal, Brady never could have orchestrated this comeback. What do? They get sacked on 3rd down, out of field goal range. We're up 28-3. Who cares? Punt it, right? And you just leave that little window. And what does Tom Brady do? He shits on your whole life and ruins. And by the way, all of those guys are going to have PTSD for the rest of their lives. They'll never not think about that.
Oh, absolutely.
So step on their throats, score another touchdown, do a trick play, throw a Hail Mary. The whole point of the game is you play to win the game.
The Green Bay Packers almost did not pull off that victory. And I say that, but it was really never in doubt. But if you look at how well they were playing in comparison to how horrible the Commanders looked, they had no urgency. Jaden Daniels looked like he was playing Madden. I mean, he just did not give a shit. He was making awful throws all over the field, taking his helmet off, and he just didn't have a care in the world. Dan Quinn and that I don't want to get into it because I'm already tongue tied right now, but it was a very frustrating game to watch.
For sure.
Fucking Jaden Daniels.
And Dan Quinn does Dan Quinn. Jamar Chase, good to see him on this list after his dud last week. And I know that a lot of fantasy managers are pretty upset. Burrow goes down, out for 3 months. Jamar Chase, oh my God, what's going to happen? Guess what?
We'll talk about Jamar.
Guess
He's gonna
what?
be
Chase
fine.
Browning, 2 years ago this happened. Browning came in. Jamar Chase still averaged over 13 fantasy points per game, or excuse me, 15. Chase Brown also, is it Jake Browning or Chase Browning?
Jake.
Chase Brown and Jake Browning, guys.
Jack.
You can't make this Jack Browning. You can't make this stuff up. Anyway, Chase Brown averaged 13 points per week. Jamar Chase 15, and T. Higgins was at like 12. So
they're going to be fine.
They're all going to be
good.
fine. Don't panic sell. You're going to be fine if you have those guys. Rome Odunze, I mean, this guy is looking like he's Caleb's favorite target.
He's looking like
young.
like Romeo. JD put Romeo Odunze on the rundown,
like Romeo,
but he is Romeo, dude.
Listen, I'm a guy who I'm seeing Rome Odunze and like I want to trade for this guy.
Oh yeah.
You know, like this is a great. What was he going? 3rd, 4th, 5th round?
I think even later.
Yeah.
At most 5th.
Yeah.
At most.
So this is a great value pick. This is a guy who I think could be like a top 5 receiver. Maybe.
That is a fantasy winning pick right there. If he is Caleb's number 1 target and is putting up even slightly less numbers than this, that's just a spot you never have to worry about. I think he's an okay trade target because I think people were iffy on him to start the season. Now I think there are Kool-Aid drinkers. So if you can pry him away from people, but don't give up too much because we've only seen 2 weeks. It looks promising, but don't send, I don't know, T. Higgins and somebody else for Rome Odunze. Not yet.
No, not yet. And then the last guy on this list, Wan'Dale Robertson, who is definitely we're going to be talking about him in the waiver section. But you got 2 guys from the Giants. You got 2 guys from the Giants on this list, which just shows you how much Russ balled out.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know about the Giants. They're a big question mark. I think that 100% Neighbors is the guy who Russ is looking at number 1. But if you're doubling Neighbors and the Giants are throwing the ball, this kid can get loose. Very Tyler Lockett-esque, kind of Seattle Russ is what I'm feeling.
Yep.
Right, where he kind of breaks loose and scores a 60-yard bomb, and you're like, why is Tyler Lockett killing me?
We'll talk about Wan'Dale Robertson in the waivers. I wanted to honorable mention
D-Hop.
D-Hop. Now, obviously, stay far away. But also, this could be fun.
Listen, I got sucked into this trap last year when he was on the Chiefs. He had a little 2 or 3 week period where he balled out. I think he scored like 29 or 23 one week, and I was like, oh my God, I have the Chiefs wide receiver 1. This is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Listen, what I did like was post-game, Lamar Jackson in his press conference made a comment like, everybody's saying he's washed. He looks pretty good to me, which means they're like homies.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that means Lamar's going to be looking for him. That's the only reason I like this. But remember, guys, look at the target share. He has 2 receptions. He scored a touchdown both games. He scored a touchdown against the Browns when like they were already up. There was no reason to throw it to him. But he is no matter what, in the red zone, D-Hop's the target.
He's D-Hop.
D-Hop.
And this is the crazy thing. The catches are nuts.
Disgusting.
Let's get to the tight ends. We'll go one at a time here because Tucker Kraft to start the week off on Thursday. He was pulled out of the game for a little bit, and they started throwing to Other White,
right.
Yeah, which is one of the most frustrating things in fantasy when they throw to the other white guy because it's difficult to tell them apart. They both have high numbers. If he was on the field the entire game, I think he probably would have been closer to 30 points. Regardless, you're not going to complain about a 21-point game from a tight end. This was the year of go big. And we always have this since the Kelsey ascendancy, since the years of Mark Andrews. We have this kind of dynamic of do you go early tight end or do you wait for a tight end later? I still don't know the answer. I think generally I'm not a fan of drafting a tight end in the 3rd round. But this guy was there fairly late, and look at what he's doing. You didn't need to look past people like JSN to get Tucker Kraft. You had to do that to get Trey McBride. So,
and by the way, Trey McBride, as it stands, has 19 fantasy points. Don't get me wrong.
Good.
He's top 5 targets to a tight end in the league, so Kyler's looking at him. But 2nd round, do you know how many players are like scoring 20 points or more in one game over a Trey McBride from the receiver or running back position? So, I mean, you're talking about a kind of a position where Jonathan Taylor.
There are people.
Jonathan Taylor is dropping to the zone where Trey McBride gets picked.
There are people that took Brock Bowers over Jonathan Taylor, and that's why it's kind of nuts that you have to talk about Jonathan Taylor in this way. Like, remember who Jonathan Taylor is. You took a tight end over him.
Well, I want to say something even crazier to you, and people can say whatever they want. There's almost every single league. Someone took Brock Bowers over Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. I think that you look at these fantasy experts and you look at these boards, but when you're in the middle of the season and Lamar Jackson is scoring 30 points every game and he's just beating the shit out of you and you're like, I can't believe I'm playing Lamar Jackson. And your reasoning was that you wanted to have a well-rounded roster, you're a fucking idiot. Like, what do you want to have a well-rounded roster? Come on, dude. What you need to do is you need to draft the best player available when it's your pick.
Well,
that's what you have to do.
This is a good question because we had a comment from Ryan Neal who said, in flex, would you start Hollywood Brown or Trey McBride? This is the comp that we're looking at with Trey McBride, and he was being taken over JSN.
Which is just insane. I mean, JSN, Jonathan Taylor. Listen.
To answer your question, I'd rather have Trey McBride.
By the way, in every league, Trey McBride and Brock Bowers were drafted over James Cook. Okay? They were drafted over Rome Odunze. They were drafted over, I mean, I don't know if Zay Flowers finishes with more. ETN has more points than them. Deebo Samuel has more points than them. Chuba has more points than them. Egbuka, Quentin Johnston, JSN, J.K. Dobbins, right? J.K. Dobbins has more points than Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. Now, listen, again, I'm not saying this is going to hold the entire year, but Trey McBride and Brock Bowers, you're drafting them because you believe they're wide receiver 1 potential. But listen to me. Do you really believe that Trey McBride or Brock Bowers can drop a 38-point week like a Malik Neighbors? No, it's not happening. There's no scenario where that happens. And listen, I get it. You weren't taking them in that position, right? They went a couple picks later. But there's a lot of wide receivers who do have that potential to hit that number, and running backs, by the way, whereas there's no chance Trey McBride is dropping 30 points.
None. That's why it's not as valuable a position. Let's get to my guy I picked up in our league, Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson, most targeted tight end this year, 20 targets. And he was the most targeted in week 1 as well. So
bad quarterbacks don't throw far.
They don't throw far.
Tight ends
and
don't
they're playing
run
from
far.
And they're playing from behind.
Ooh. Does he sound okay? His mic just fell on the floor. Do you sound okay?
Do I sound okay?
Okay, great. Juwan Johnson is the truth. There's been a lot of hype around this guy for a couple of years. He's very talented. He's kind of like a much better version of Kyle Pitts.
Correct. Like he should be projected as the 7th best tight end, and Kyle Pitts should be 17th, which, by the way, the lowest Kyle Pitts has ever been projected is 7th, and he's never finished a season in the top 10 of tight ends.
You look at Juwan Johnson's stat line from this week, this is a prototypical solid tight end stat line. 5 receptions, 49 yards, and a red zone target successfully executed, gets you 14 fantasy points. That is chef's kiss. That's exactly what you want from your tight end. The next one up is Zach Ertz, who seems to be a favorite of Jaden so far this season.
He's a favorite, and also he has the second most fantasy points from the tight end position. So, listen, I don't know how you look away from Zach Ertz. He's a guy who Jaden relied on last year. The theme continues. He's a guy who does get injured.
Yes.
So
yes.
I could see why you might be wary to roster him. But if you're streaming a tight end, or you're in this position where you have an Evan Ingram, and you're like, what am I doing? He has 2 points so far. Put Zach Ertz in.
Sure.
If Jaden Daniels is playing.
If you're a Terry McLaurin owner, hey, Zach, stop.
Stop it.
Stop doing this. Next tight end, this is one of these picks where you just go, ooh, this is not exciting, but it wins you fantasy weeks.
Crazy stat of the week is Jake Ferguson targeted 18 times so far, and he has 17 fantasy points, which is significantly the lowest amount of points in relation to target share. So Ferguson is the second highest targeted tight end, and he's like the 8th highest with points.
He's the Chris Olave of tight
ends.
So
this is correct. This is a guy who, if you can get Jake Ferguson for cheap somehow, and he's the second tight end on the team, trade for him now, because his points. Nobody who is rostering Jake Ferguson is like, Jake Ferguson is elite, but he's about to be elite because he will get in the end zone.
What is your philosophy of playing 2 tight ends?
I don't care if a guy gets injured. For example, I put Jonnu Smith into my tight end position, which didn't look great last week because Rodgers shit the bed, right? But next week, I just got Eckler, who went out. And I have Rashee Rice on that squad, so I have some roster spots on my bench that are already taken up. So now I have this kind of position where I'm in where I can start Juwan Johnson and I can start Fannin Jr., right? Maybe not the sexiest thing to do, but am I going to pick up a running back or a receiver and stream them and take a chance? There's a reason I picked those guys up.
Yeah.
Right? So again, I really think you guys should be analyzing targets and in relation to targets, who's available. So
targets.
If you see a guy who is on waivers, who's getting targeted a lot, and they don't have a lot of fantasy points in relation to those targets, that's the guy I'm looking at, whether it's from the tight end or the wide receiver position.
Yeah, and if you see candidates for trades that are not performing but their targets are up, go after them. I don't think playing 2 tight ends is going to win you a fantasy championship, but I think it's something that can get you to the playoffs. I was debating starting Juwan Johnson over somebody like Matthew Golden last week, and playing Tucker Kraft and Juwan Johnson, that would have won me the week. Instead, I play Matthew Golden. It's poop.
And let's just one note on tight ends as well, everybody. It's interesting because everybody is talking shit about this guy right now, but had Travis Kelce caught that touchdown pass, he would have the second most fantasy points, only behind Tucker Kraft.
Kelce wants it. Kelce is so jacked up. He's doing that super annoying thing where he's getting in everybody's face and baiting fouls. It's just what the Chiefs do. They're a disgusting rat-like organization.
Love it.
But he is there to do it. I think Kelce could have a great week 3, great week 4. Once their receivers start coming back.
Hot topic debate. Do you think it was more Kelce's fault or Mahomes' fault on that throw? I've watched the throw multiple times, so I have my opinion, but I
haven't seen it enough. It looked like Kelce. I mean, just catch the ball. At
first glance, yes. He breaks out of his route, and the only issue to me is as soon as he turns, he turns, the ball's low, which whatever if it's low, but it's low and he has to reach. Yeah. So it's kind of like you see it, you move your arm, it hit him right here. You could tell he extended a little too much. So I don't think that's it's all Kelce's fault. Mahomes did not need to put that much mustard on it. You know?
And maybe this is my hatred clouding my judgment, but are we really talking about Mahomes and Brady? Are we really doing that? It's so crazy to me.
Well, I think that it's hindsight is 20/20 deal, and you just have to understand Brady won 3 Super Bowls in his first 4 or 5 years. He did not win another Super Bowl for 10 years.
Yep.
And then he won another, 4. So, again, Mahomes won as many as Brady in at the same point in their careers. Mahomes still has a lot of work to do, and it's unfortunate because it seemed like he went to 2 Super Bowls that he could have won, but also very Brady-esque, right? Brady loses to Eli Manning twice. He loses to Nick Foles. Brady lost to those guys, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least Mahomes can say, I lost to Brady.
Yeah. And Jalen Hurts, incredible quarterback.
Yeah, and Jalen, the Eagles.
Incredible quarterback. Speaking of incredible quarterbacks, Joe Burrow is once again gravely injured. Turf toe. The most awful injury outside of truly horrible injuries in fantasy, when you have receivers that have turf toe, there's going to be this dance that you play with them where they're not out for the whole season, but they're just never the same. It hurts athletic performance so badly. Luckily, he's a quarterback, but we talked about it on Dappz Live yesterday. I think the entire offensive line should be tried for criminal negligence. They just hate this guy.
I mean, it is just insane that he gets turf toe and they're like, he's out 3 months.
It's it's
really wild.
injury.
Like, you just think about like a toe injury and you're like, it'll heal. Or like, I can wrap it up and have a big weird sock thing on
it's
and like
bad.
Still kind of move around. No.
I think I remember having Devontae when he had turf toe. I think he was on the Packers. I can't remember, but it was just a tormentative period. Do you start him? How good is he going to be? You cannot move well with turf toe. But we get to somebody like Jamar, who is going to be Jamar. I mean, if Justin Jefferson can be Justin Jefferson with Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy, the number 1 wide receiver in the league can do it too. I'm not too concerned about Jamar, but this is the number 1 consensus curse striking again. Jamar was number 1 on pretty much everybody's list. Joe Burrow was destined to get a serious injury.
Yeah, and listen, I just, it's so unfortunate because Joe Burrow, everybody wants to watch Joe Burrow play football. That's what's unfortunate about this. And we're talking about fantasy implications and gambling implications and all this other stuff, but it's just unfortunate as a NFL fan. Guess what? How many primetime games are the Bengals in? Because guess what? Those games suck now.
They suck
now. Like, nobody wants to watch them. And then we as fans get mad at the NFL because we're like, well, who the hell put this game together? It's like, oh, well, we put Joe Burrow against Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Not Browning, right? So
right.
That's what's unfortunate for me. It's and very unfortunate for anybody who drafted Joe Burrow in the 5th round, right?
Your guy right
that
here.
That guy.
I think that Chase Brown has been struggling a little bit. I think that, like Jamar Chase, checkdowns, run game is only going to increase with a worse quarterback. I think Chase Brown is going to be fine. Joe Burrow, again, fantasy podcast, not an NFL podcast. Joe Burrow needs to find a new team. The way this franchise has treated this guy is criminal. It's so crazy.
Well, I do want to add Chase Brown and Tony Pollard on this list for attempts, right? So we're similar to targets, the amount of attempts, rushing attempts by all running backs in the league.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Saquon. Tony Pollard is 4. Chase Brown is 5.
Yep.
Tony Pollard and Chase Brown are in the teens of fantasy points. The rest of these guys are 27, 32, 38, and 44.
Yeah.
So these numbers will even out over time.
Was CMC on that list?
CMC is behind Chase Brown with 35 attempts, 2 less, and he has 38 points.
Yeah.
So Christian McCaffrey has 1 less attempt, and he has double the fantasy points. Chase Brown is coming. The Chase Brown era is coming. Also, by the way, if you can somehow trade for Chase Brown right now and people think he's down, get him.
I had a little poo-poo today. I was looking at the team that had Chase Brown. I am targeting Chase Brown aggressively.
Yeah, so this is a guy, if someone's going, oh my God, I made the wrong pick with Chase Brown, early 2nd round, steal him.
Let's get to Indy versus Denver, a very confusing game. Once again, we've got Danny Dimes, who, at this point, do you believe Daniel Jones? I have a waiver on him.
No, I don't believe in him. Listen,
his face is so dumb.
Cool first
Look
game,
at that face.
Cool second game at home. Go on the road and beat a good team, and I'll believe in you.
The Denver Broncos are a good team.
Well, they also
they're 0-2.
Bailed out by the refs on the last play. So that does not. Again, let's just pretend they don't get bailed out on that play. What are we saying about Danny Dimes? We're saying, oh, he's interesting in fantasy, but he's 1-1. Like, nobody would care about Danny Dimes at all if he was 1-1.
And forgive me, the Denvers are not. The Broncos are not 0-2. So we're waiting on Danny Dimes. We are not waiting on JT. He's having just incredible season. But Courtland Sutton is somebody that I wanted to talk to you about. This guy was very, very big for people towards the end of last season. It seemed like Bo Nix and him had established a wide receiver one relationship that was so solid. A lot of people who went heavy RB in the draft looked to guys like Terry McLaurin and Courtland Sutton in the 5th-ish round to kind of plug up the vacuum of wide receiver. Courtland Sutton, 5-alarm fire. 5-alarm fire.
I don't know about 5-alarm fire. I think he had like 15 fantasy points week 1.
No. Oh, he did, because he caught a touchdown. He did.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, back to, I think he had 15 fantasy points week 1. Looking at Denver's receiving last week, Bo Nix looked like last year Bo Nix and not week 1 Bo Nix. Bo Nix looked insane week 1. He looked horrible. He was fumbling the ball, throwing interceptions. This week against the Colts, he was lighting it up, 3 touchdowns on, let's see how many yards, 206 yards, not the best. He threw 1 pick. His favorite target of the week, though, Troy Franklin, caught 8 balls for 90 yards. Marvin Mims caught a touchdown. I mean, he threw the ball. There's 22 completions. He threw to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different receivers. So that combines tight ends and running backs as well. Listen, Bo Nix can get the ball all over the field, and that could be worrisome because you can't rely on one particular guy. I think Courtland Sutton's going to get his. I don't know if they were doubling Courtland Sutton because he had such a good game week 1 and they let Troy Franklin go. I'm not really worried. Evan Ingram, on the other hand, 1 catch for 12 yards, put up basically a goose egg the first week. Evan Ingram's not looking good, but again, I believe Bo Nix is a really good quarterback. I think that he's going to progress and get better and better, and if he does, more people are going to score on the Broncos. Well, let's just take a look real quick at who the Broncos have to play, and it's the Chargers this week. Bengals stink, Eagles, Jets stink, Giants stink. So there's going to be a lot of room for Bo Nix to score some points.
Don't rage bench Courtland Sutton. But
don't bench Courtland Sutton yet.
I do think it's a 5-alarm fire. They're spreading the ball around, and I think the thing is that Courtland Sutton is not an elite enough talent to be there all the time for a quarterback. You look at the Chargers. I mean, Ladd is great, but he's not that top-tier guy that's always going to be there, and that means there's going to be a dispersion, which is why I'm pretty worried.
And I would agree that it's a Chargers-esque situation where there's a lot of mouths to feed. And listen, there's just quarterbacks who don't care about a wide receiver one. They read the field. Whoever's open, they throw the ball to that guy.
Hate it.
And listen, that's how Tom Brady really was the majority of his career outside of those 3 or 4 years that he had with Moss. So though the best quarterbacks, they don't need a star receiver. That's why Josh Allen told Stephon Diggs, get out of town.
See you later.
Let's get into our favorite segment. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
What?
This is a segment that I just wanted to highlight a couple performances that were quote-unquote confusing or raised eyebrows. Hence, wait, what?
Wait, what?
Derrick Henry. 2.3 points.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Derrick Henry had 2 points. This is unbelievable. By the way, for anybody who watched the boring-ass Ravens-Browns game like me, very Seattle Seahawk-esque. The Ravens had the ball 1st and goal on the 1-yard line and ran it to Derrick Henry 0 times.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Don't trust Harbaughs. They're
So-
too cute. They suck.
I just, listen, it doesn't make sense to me. Why? Just why? You have Derrick Henry. You have Marshawn Lynch. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. Don't give it to the quarterback. And listen, I think they ended up kicking a field goal on one of them, and maybe they gave it to him the second time they were on the goal line. But this was just a really bad day for Derrick Henry managers, especially coming off a 40-point bomb.
Yeah.
A nuclear bomb he let off last week.
You through 2 weeks, you've had 20 points one week, 20 points the other. You're fine. He might have lost you the week this week, but I wouldn't worry about Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and the other thing is you got to eat it, because I guarantee you that week 1 you were gonna lose, and Derrick Henry won you your week.
Oh, yeah.
And you were down 25, and we're like, I need 26 from Derrick Henry, and he got you 40.
Yeah.
Right. So you're gonna have to eat that one. Moving on to Little Big Cam on the Giants.
Little Big Cam.
Puts up 13 points.
Yeah, I am very concerned that Cam Skattebo is just a football guy and not a fantasy guy. But I'm not that concerned no more. After week 1, there were these clips coming out of him in pass protection, blocking, getting down the field, hitting guys. Looked like a dude that loves this game. But I wasn't sure how it would translate to fantasy. I think that Tyrone Tracy is not that great, and Cam Skattebo could take over.
I completely agree with you, and I think I have a take that you're going to love and fall in love with, because you don't often fall in love with my takes. But
No, I hate your takes.
Cam Skattebo is the Baker Mayfield of running backs.
I love that take.
Right? He's the Baker Mayfield of running backs. By the way, pre-draft, he tells everybody, I think people aren't realizing that I'm the best running back in the country or in the league.
Yeah, you're not.
Right, and you're not, so to speak. But guess what? This dude has more fantasy points than Ashton Jeanty, who was the best, number 1. And number 2, the Giants, if you watch the game, trusted this dude. Like, they were giving him the ball and then giving it to him again. And I don't want to tackle Cam Skattebo. Like, he looks like he just wants to truck stick you for no reason. Like, on plays where, like, he doesn't need to truck stick, he wants to truck stick.
He is an angry little pug, and he's a Brian Daboll player. Daboll has been praying to the pantheon for a guy like this.
Can you bring the graphic up again? His bicep is the same, like, diameter as his forearm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's scary.
He has Popeye arms.
Yeah, he's a little Popeye
arms. 11 carries, 45 yards, 2 receptions, 1 touchdown, 13 points. I think that's going up.
If you're thin at RB, I'm trying to work a trade for this guy in your kind of.
I think so too. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Dude, this is another guy who I just could not justify taking at any draft position, right? I mean,
I could because he
maybe
won me
if you had
leagues
7th or
last year.
8th pick and he fell to you in that second round, I guess I ended up having the 10th pick, taking Neighbors, which I was very worrisome about because of Russ. And now I feel like a giddy little schoolgirl.
Yeah, you should.
Because look what just happened.
You should.
And then I took Josh Allen over all these guys. And the only guy that I could say I maybe should have taken over Josh Allen is Jonathan Taylor. But besides that, I think I made the right pick. On the week that Josh Allen scored 30, Neighbors did okay. And then the week that Josh Allen scored 11, I had Neighbors. So I'm feeling very good.
Let's sync those two up for some big scores.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr., I am aggressively targeting in trades. People are very, very worrisome and low on this guy. He is an incredible wide receiver. He's a little hurt right now. They have some head coaching issues. T-Law is fighting with the head coach on the sideline, so it's a little tumultuous right now. But remember, the Jacksonville Jaguars are always bad. It didn't matter last year. This guy took you to the promised land. He is going to do it again. I would go and get Brian Thomas Jr., but don't overpay.
If you could get him low, get him. It's just I'm as a fantasy manager drafting a guy in the second round. I am not selling him low.
I understand that, but people were getting him in the third round. If they're 0-2 and they're in a panic, you can bend them over a barrel. These are the people that are not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
So go
Who
target
don't deserve
them.
life. Yeah, I understand. Right.
Wait, what?
Wait, what is the next guy?
Kemba Walker. I think this is real. Zach Charbonnet ran the ball, I think, 50 times on Sunday and got 51 yards. He's one of the most inefficient runners. He looks good at times, but Kenbone is the truth on this team. He will get injured. So he can't, if he's your running back one, that's a little bit of an issue. But I do think that Kenbone is
I don't know why I put this guy on my bench. So what I did was I had Tet McMillan.
Yeah.
I had to decide between both of these guys. And Tet put up 13, so only a 5-point difference. Where I really screwed up, though, was I should have played Tet in my receiver spot over DJ Moore. But listen, like, are you out on DJ Moore yet? You know what I mean? I know Rome looks great, but are you about to write DJ Moore off? I don't think so. I think DJ Moore is going to have to go to my bench for a minute. Tet slots into the receiver, and then I have Kenbone over there. This doesn't really surprise me. If you've been watching Kenneth Walker over the last couple of years, when he's healthy,
he's so good.
He's so good. And not to say this is his floor, but this is like close to his floor.
No, it's not. His floor is 3 points.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I don't mean that he doesn't have a 3-point floor. I'm just saying when Kenneth Walker is Kenneth Walker,
yeah,
like consistently, he's a guy who can put up 30 points.
Yeah, he's a week winner. I don't think he's a league winner because he's just too
unreliable.
Yeah. Sure. But I'm not confused anymore about this backfield. Week 1 was weird, and now wait, what? I think Kenbone is the truth.
It makes me feel good when you're confident, you know.
Let's get to waivers. Again, I don't think there's any standout guys the way there were last year. Everybody rushed to the wire and picked up Isaiah Likely, who is coached by a Harbaugh. So you got bit in the ass. I hate the Harbaughs. But first up, Danny Dimes. How much fab are you spending on Danny Dimes? If you have Burrow, if you have Justin Fields, how much are you putting on Danny Dimes?
I don't think a lot. I don't think I'm in a position in any league really where I need to get Danny Dimes. If I was in one where I had a Joe Burrow, sure, I'm putting 30, 40.
30?
Yeah.
That's a good amount.
If you have Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
If you have Joe Burrow and you don't have a quarterback on your bench and you need a QB, and listen, it depends who's available, obviously, but if it's between like Danny Dimes and Russell Wilson, and you got to snag one of those guys, man.
You definitely do. And here's the thing. In the league that I have Burrow, I am playing a waiver system, which is the dumbest way to do free agency. If you're still playing waivers, there is no strategy. There are truthers that'll go, no, there's a ton of strategy. You just got to wait and see how long you can stave off so you can get. It is dumb. Play fab, tell your commissioner, get away from waivers. It should be illegal. The next character on the waivers is Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't know. I think that
This is an interesting one. This is I don't want to say Quentin Johnston-esque, but I don't know if I'm ready to drop $20 on Wan'Dale Robinson. And I think that in most leagues, somebody's going to drop that. Like, that's what somebody's going to put in. So 24 points, 8 receptions, 142 yards. I mean, he had a 60-yard catch, so minus that, this is a wildly different week, but he's still getting you 10 points. So I think he's a good 8 to 10 point guy on a bad week, maybe Wan'Dale Robinson, which I don't think that's a bad floor.
Don't spend big on him. Don't waste a waiver pick on him. Remember, his quarterback is Russell Wilson. Next up, and we talked about him last week, if he's still there, you know, I drafted this guy in the 12th.
I drafted this guy and dropped him in the league, and of course, I dropped him the day before Bigsby got traded. So.
I see a Rashad White, Bucky Irving kind of situation with ETN and Bashal Tutin. I think
Little Toot made an insane cut to score a touchdown with electric.
Bashal Toot is fast and good too.
Yeah.
Bashal Toot is somebody that I would be very comfortable dropping $40 to $50 on if he is still there. The next one, Alec Iomenor. You know, people are hyped on this guy because Calvin Ridley and Cam Ward have not had a very solid connection thus far. But let's remember, these are the kind of waivers that are just kind of panic write-ups. There are journalists out there that are just like, I need to put 5 names in my waiver column, so I'm going to throw this guy in there. He got a touchdown off of a very ill-advised cross-field throw from Cam Ward. I'm not dropping a waiver priority pick on Alec.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about this guy. Never thought about him. Not putting $1. Probably not even picking him up if he's available. Like,
free agent. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have a guy who listen. If you watch the Titans game and you got some kind of like intel, by all means. That's how I feel about last week with the Steelers. So like I saw that Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren were the 2 clear-cut guys on all boards, right?
Yeah.
I watched the game. Kenneth Gainwell is getting way more touches than Caleb Johnson. Yeah. Not as many as Jalen Warren, but he's the number 2 there. And they were using him in the pass attack. Then, I don't know if you saw, Caleb Johnson was on special teams. Massacre of a fumble, which is why the Steelers probably lost that game. They lost all the momentum on that play. Bonehead move. He lets the ball go behind him. He touches it and doesn't kick it out of the end zone or fall on it, whatever he was supposed to do. Huge screw up by the rookie. So now I imagine he's not in Mike Tomlin's good graces. Kenneth Gainwell been playing all right. I saw Rodgers looking at him in the pass game. I think he's going to slot into that, what Jalen Warren was last year or the year before, right? So Jalen Warren is now the one guy. I think that Gainwell is probably good for like 6 or 7 touches on the ground and 3 to 5 receptions. And if he scores a touchdown, that's a great little flex play. Whereas this guy, Eric, I don't even know how to say his name. Gainwell's already on my bench. I'm not going to drop him for this guy when they can't protect Cam Ward. He's been sacked 11 times in 2 games, an NFL record.
And the coach doesn't know the rules of the NFL. Tough scene. But listen, if you have any questions for us, please get in the comments. We'll help you as much as we can next week. We
will criticize your favorite fantasy guru expert. Please tell us in the comments who is the biggest bonehead fantasy expert that you've been watching over the last couple of years. We'd love to research some of their takes, maybe throw them up on the screen.
Well,
listen, we're going to start doing some giveaways on here, guys. Make sure you watch Up or Down, which releases every Thursday. We talk about sports cards. We give away a $200 sports card. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel, like the video, and comment underneath. We're going to give you as much information about fantasy. We're going to go through these analytics, targets, attempts, which people don't talk about, and you really have to be analyzing this stuff in your league. Receptions, obviously, are great too, but think about the quarterback. If he's targeting a guy, and that means he likes him, he trusts that player, he's going to keep. It's a repetitive pattern that's going to keep happening.
But also, this is a vibes show, okay?
But this is not about statistics. It's more about vibes.
Vibes are important in fantasy football, okay? Vibes are extremely important, all right? We can analyze all this stuff as much as you want, but eye tests, gut, and balls take you to the promised land. See you next week.
See you next week on General Managers. I'm your host, Dappz. That's Dylan. Hope you're enjoying the show.